There's renewed attention along the border with Mexico. Authorities report an increase in people trying to cross into the United States illegally, and it's once again a political firestorm. President Joe Biden assigned Vice President Kamala Harris to manage the diplomatic angle with Mexico. The administration is scrambling to convert convention centers in California and Texas to handle an influx of children coming by themselves. Democrats in the House of Representatives passed legislation to provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers and farm workers. Almost every Republican stayed united to vote against the two measures. Republicans also criticized the Biden administration for not enforcing deportation. Republicans could see immigration as an issue to help them regain control of the Senate in 2 years. Their unity will be tested by the lingering presence of Donald Trump. His appearance at CPAC a few weeks ago highlighted the divisiveness he brings to the party. 10 Republicans, you remember, in the House of Representatives voted in favor of impeaching the former president after the attack on the Capitol. Trump refers to them as Republicans in name only. One Republican who voted to impeach and has been very outspoken against Donald Trump is Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Adam Kinzinger has taken some bold positions that don't always sit well with his party. He's taken plenty of heat for that, yet his policy positions cannot be mistaken for anything other than Republican. Illinois Congressman Adam Kinzinger joins us for a conversation this morning. Thanks so much for making the time, Congressman.
Yeah, you bet. Good to be with you.
Let's start with immigration. There's been a lot of finger pointing about what's happening at the southern border with Mexico now and over the last few years. But this has certainly been a problem, if not a crisis, for decades. The House recently adopted the American Dream and Promise Act, as well as the Farm Workforce Modernization Act. Each would provide a path to American citizenship for dreamers and farm workers, respectively. I checked the congressional record. It indicated you didn't cast a vote on either of these. First of all, why were you out of town? And can you clarify your position on these pieces of legislation?
Yeah, I would have been supportive of them. I was on military duty and can't cast a vote and during that. So unfortunately that week we were supposed to be out, so I can schedule the duty then, and then they changed it. But look, I think the bottom line is we need to fix immigration, and even though I'm supportive of these efforts, I think we need to actually do it in a bigger way. And I think we need actual comprehensive immigration reform, and that's going to start and include real verifiable border security. And then the recognition that, those that are here illegally, especially those that have been here a while, it's unrealistic to think they're all going to be deported. We need to put them in a pathway to legalization, maybe ultimately citizenship in the back of the line, and just get this fixed for the next generation. But, both sides kind of hold on to their really important thing and are unwilling to engage in real conversation on it. And so we're going to continue kind of in this piecemeal by piecemeal thing.
Yeah, we have seen this piecemeal method because that's where it seems like you're more likely to accomplish things, because every time there is a big bill like you're suggesting, it gets shot down. How do you get beyond that?
Well, I mean, that's ultimately the question in politics right now, is how do we get beyond people needing to accept something as perfect before they're willing to vote for it, or somebody always seeing an opportunity to just go after the other side of the aisle and attack. And unfortunately, with the House so close as it is, and the political landscape, frankly, so close as it is, it's just always thinking about the next election. So I think, look, we've got to elect people and demand better of people to actually go to DC or Springfield or to the city council and solve problems and not just go out to make political points. But that's going to take some time. I'm optimistic we'll get there. But right now, we're not in a good place for that.
Your optimism, I don't know if it's shared by a lot of people these days. Let's move on to another topic, because there is indication that the Biden administration is gearing up to introduce a potential $3 trillion infrastructure plan. The New York Times reports it would include a jobs package as well as domestic policy priorities like free community college, universal pre-kindergarten, with hundreds of billions of dollars to repair the country's streets, bridges, waterways, and railroads, certainly traditional infrastructure, $400 billion potentially to fight climate change. This would definitely be a big approach. What part of this, if any, could you go along with the Democrats?
Well, this is where I'm a little disappointed, because I was hoping and hopeful that we could actually do infrastructure together. This sounds like this is infrastructure plus every other kind of Democratic dream proposal that they can do. And of course, you're not going to have any bipartisan support on that, because there are fundamental differences in the parties. That's why we have Washington, D.C. to go debate. So I think getting an infrastructure bill done could be done. The question is, if you're just going to say we're going to spend $3 trillion and raise corporate taxes, when, by the way, prior to the corporate tax cut, we had companies leaving the United States and going elsewhere. That's not happening anymore. you're not going to get a bipartisan solution. But if we can get to the point, and I think I'm an ever optimist, I think we can, where we just talk about the infrastructure piece of this and how to fund it, then I think, if not all of my colleagues or even most of them, a significant number of us be willing to work with the Democrats on this issue of infrastructure.
Can you fund infrastructure, though, with raising some taxes, perhaps corporate taxes?
I think there's going to have to be an increase in how we fund it. I don't like the idea of just going to the corporate tax well, because, again, that's when you run into, now these companies are going to start leaving for lower tax areas. We could be mad about that, but you're not going to be able to stop it. But I think things like, look, the federal gas tax has been the same since 1995. Every family is spending about half of what they used to use the interstate system, because cars get better gas mileage and stuff costs more now. So I think having a discussion on that, or like how to charge electrical vehicles, for instance, so you basically pay for what you use. That's a fiscally conservative way to do it. Not just saying we're going to, soak the corporations or the rich or whoever at the moment.
We're just getting started with Adam Kinzinger. Coming up, testing democracy, how the congressman sees the state of the Republican Party. For the Record.